All right, so we're without a doubt in a moment.
Yeah.
And the moment really, really stands out right now because we're in this transitional moment. I mean, I just been sensing that CRI is in a huge transition. We've been in a bit of a pause after the deployments to Turkey and Ukraine. I know a lot of people are itching to get back out there in the field, but we felt like the Lord just said, hold a minute. We're paused, but there's a pivot that's coming. And we feel like there's a transition coming in the earth that we need to be positioned for. One of those pivots is we felt in terms of deployment, just being out on deployment in Florida, Turkey, Ukraine. We really want to put a lot of energy in there, but leading even up to that, the last 6 months, been feeling like we needed to build a new base camp, like really build up our capabilities. We've been looking at this modular system of tents, AC for responders, these bunk systems,
Hygiene unit,
showers, the whole bit. And I just feel like there's something on building this. I showed you the video of the trailer, or you'll see it here in a minute, but there's a story, and it's so unique. The situation that's unfolding with Jared jumping in full time and Mike being here. And I just thought of the story that Mike has told often over the years. Years ago, Mike, why don't you just jump into this? Hurricane Harvey, right?
Hurricane Harvey was approaching, okay, and we thought it was going to go to Florida, okay, and you had a dream, or God told you, that you wrote on 2 sticky notes, and you sent me, said, Mike, you won't believe this. There's a pastor named Steve. He's an Assemblies of God pastor. He's 1 mile inland on the west side of Florida.
Yep.
And I think God is
AG Church.
AG Assemblies of God. Yeah, I think this is where the hurricane's going to hit. So we need to look at that. Well, Hurricane Harvey decided it wasn't going to go there. Okay, so Hurricane Harvey shifted and went towards Texas, Corpus Christi. We thought was going to hit Corpus, and so I have a friend in Corpus Christi, Texas, in a church, and so I was communicating with him, and I said, he was my operations officer in Desert Storm, and so he knew what basically I wanted, because that's his kind of role. And I said, this is what I'm looking for. And he said, well, let me start looking around. And in the meantime, I get in my car. I call Mike Gooch, our chaplain director. I called Mike Gooch up and said, hey, you want to go with me to Hurricane Harvey down in Texas? He said, sure, when you want to go? I said, in the morning. And he had a job at the time, and so he said, well, let me call you back. And so he said, yes, I can go. So he gets in his car and he drives over from South Carolina, and he meets me the next morning, and he rolls in, he gets out of his car, jumps in my car, and we take off towards Texas. We take off west from Tennessee. We were in East Tennessee, so we take off towards Texas, not knowing where we were going, because at that point in time we didn't know where we were going. We just knew we were going to go towards Texas, thinking it was Corpus Christi. Well, my buddy he's not achieving what I thought he was going to achieve and get a place for us to go. In the meantime, I get a call from this guy whose mom was a CRI responder. He was Joan Hunter's admin assistant, and Joan Hunter is in Tomball, Texas, which is just north of Houston. And so he said, Joan Hunter said she has this building. She said, if you guys want to come here, you're welcome to come here. And I said, well, let me call you back, because we thought we were going to go to Corpus. So we get north of Texas, and we're in this terrible storm. Love bugs are all over if you ever experienced love bugs, are all over your car. So we get north of Texas, and I call my buddy. I said, we've got to make a decision. We're stopping here for the night, north of Texas. In the morning when we take off, I'm either going to go this direction or your direction. I said, you're released. If you can't find something, tell me now. He says, I can't find anything. So I called the guy back from the Joan Hunter Ministries. I said, are you still open for that? He said, yes. So we went to Joan Hunter Ministries. Well, we go to Joan Hunter Ministries, and she's got an old cowboy church building. It's a really nice parking lot. It's a big parking lot. They just remodeled the parking lot, and the storm was coming their way. Matter of fact, it had already passed through there, and they had just remodeled their parking lot, and they were complaining that they had to have this big drain field done for their parking lot. But as it ended up, because the drain field was there, it saved their building.
Wow.
Okay, and they didn't know that at the
Wow.
time. So it actually saved their building, and they were like whining a little bit about that. But then they said, "Oh God, we understand why
We would have been underwater.
we
And if
had
you know
to do
Texas,
this.
it
Yeah,
goes
we had to
underwater
do
quick.
this thing." Okay, so it worked out great. So we get to Joan Hunter Ministries, and they were supposed to have a big conference that week, and so Joan Hunter, they had to postpone it. Well, of course, conferences is how they make their money, of course, and so they already put a lot of money into it, which they weren't going to get back. So we get there, and it was me and Mike Gooch and a couple other folks showed up, and I think the second day we were there, they had a washer and dryer, and someone was using the dryer and it broke. And
Our teams were there.
our team,
trying to wash clothing.
Yeah, some of
and
our
stuff.
team had showed up, and they were already trying to wash clothes and stuff, and so we broke her dryer. And I'm going, oh, and I think at that point in time we had maybe a budget of less than $1,000. Okay,
For the deployment.
for the whole deployment. It wasn't much.
For a massive hurricane.
Yeah, so we're like using our credit cards, we're just going, okay, we go.
It was like 10 feet of water in.
Yeah,
Houston.
Houston was like underwater. It was like over the roofs in some places. It was
bad.
it was really bad.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I said, okay, Joan, I'll buy you a new one, or I'll buy another one. Okay.
Well, you texted me, and you.
Said,
I
how much-
think we're supposed to sow a seed.
Yeah, I said
right?
we need to buy this thing. We were supposed to sow a seed.
And we were in huge need for not only the finances for the
Right.
deployment, but we were also trying to build out a base camp.
Base camp. Yeah. So I called this guy. I found a phone book. Remember the phone books? I think she had a phone book. Anyway, I found this guy, and I said, "Do you have any used dryers?" He said, "Well, I might have one." I said, "Well, I've got a budget of $400." And I'm on the phone with this guy, and Joan Hunter walks in, and she says, see if you can get a matching washer and dryer." And I'm going, whoa. Because he just told me he thought he had a dryer for like $400. I'm thinking a matching washer and dryer for $400. I said, okay. I said, you wouldn't happen to have a matching washer and dryer for that? He said, you know what? He said, I might have one. He said, there was a woman, her husband bought her one, and she didn't like the color, and we delivered it. She didn't like the color. We picked it up, and I think it's back in the warehouse. Let me go look. I said, well, tell me how much it is when you come back. He says, we've got it. And he said, I tell you what, I can let you have both of them for $500. I went, whoa, okay, $500. That's great. He says, I'll bring it out tomorrow. So the owner brings it out. So the next morning, the guy comes, and I'm back there giving him our story, hey, we're with Crisis Response International. People, we work off a donation. Anyway, so he delivers it all, and so he gives me the bill, and he takes his pen and he scratches off $100, which is a setup and delivery charge, and so $400.
Oh wow!
We got both brand new washer and dryer for $400. Okay, I said, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, I found out about Joan Hunter not having the income that she thought she was going to have. Sean and I had a discussion, and Sean says, I think we had $2,500 or.
Yeah.
Was it $2,500? I think we had 20. He said, our bookkeeper was with us, and he said, have her write a check for $2,500, a seed. And so we wrote a check for $2,500. Joan Hunter comes in and give her the check, and she's just like, this is exactly how much we needed to, for the week.
To make up their loss.
Make up their losses for the
Wow.
week. Boom, it fit the need, right? And so
Right.
here we got $2,500 seed from the check. We got $400 for the washer and dryer. So Sean, someone had donated enough money to buy a mobile kitchen unit. So Sean had it pulled down to Tomball, Texas, with nothing inside of it. It's just a big empty trailer.
We're supposed to cook for all these people, and we don't have anything in it.
There's absolutely nothing in it. It doesn't even have an air conditioner. Okay, big trailer, pretty on the outside, but zero
Just
on the
the
inside.
box.
Matter of fact, we went down and looked at it.
Yep.
You and I went down, spent the night down there looking at the thing. So he has someone drag it over to Texas, and he's after me. He says, we got to get this thing on the road. I said, Sean, I don't know anything about mobile kitchen units. It's like, what do I put in it? And how many times have you been down the road that you saw a place that sells things that you put inside of a mobile kitchen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this guy named Jason and I we were going down the road, and boom, there's this place that sells stuff that you put inside mobile kitchen units.
Oh my gosh.
And I
Oh
went,
my God.
whoa, how can that happen? And so I said, Sean, tell me what you want. I said, I have no clue about it. So he sends me this list. I need this kind of oven, this kind of, da-da-da-da. So he pretty much gives me a good list.
Flat
Yeah.
top, refrigerators, freezers, the whole
Yeah.
bit, ice maker,
So we
AC unit for the roof.
Yeah.
So we go in and you're like, we don't have any money. But I didn't tell the guy. I didn't tell the guy that. I said, well, here's a list. I said, can you help me out with this stuff? And he says, yeah, we got all this stuff. He said, how much is this going to cost us? And so the guy goes, it's going to be about $9,600. Okay. I said, okay. I said, that's great. I said, but the thing about the money, I said, we work off of donations, and so we'll have to put it out there and see if anyone wants to help us with that.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I'll get back to you. He said, well, this offer is only good for like the next day or, so many days or whatever it was. I said, okay, that's fine. So Jason and I get back in the car, and I get a phone call. He said, the guy says, are you Mike? I said, yes, sir, I am. He said, well, my dad and I were talking this morning. He said, but you got to understand, my dad is like really old, and he has dementia, and some days he's not all here. He said, but this morning he was here. Okay, and we were talking about the needs that CRI has, and we understand you guys are trying to outfit a kitchen. He said, my dad and I discussed it, and we wanted to give you a check for $10,000.
You just started talking about it.
That's it. So I said, Jason, okay. I said, yes, sir. Okay, that's fine,
Yeah.
So we turn around and we head back towards this place.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, when can we get the stuff? He said, oh, we can deliver it tomorrow. He said, except I made a mistake. He said, the stove that you wanted, I quoted you natural gas instead of LP gas. He said, natural gas is more expensive. But he said, but since I quoted it to you, I'll let you have it. It was like a bit more. I said, fine, thank you. So anyway, they're going to deliver all this stuff tomorrow. I mean, fully outfitted the kitchen, right?
In a day.
In a day. Boom. Okay.
Installed everything? Like you just like slam.
It's all there. Okay,
Wow.
so we head back to Tombo Camp.
But didn't we borrow a truck to even pull it
Yeah,
down
we had to
there? We
borrow-
didn't even have a way to pull it.
We didn't. We had to borrow something to drag it down there. So we're heading back, and Sean, we're almost back to camp, and Sean calls and says, "Hey, we've had someone donate $35,000 to buy a new truck." I went, "Okay, whoa, okay, that's cool."
Wow.
I said, so we stopped short, and we stopped at a truck lot, and we were sending Sean these pictures. He said, "No, that's not what I want." I went, "Okay, what do you want?" And he says, "I want a dually Duramax diesel
With an Allison transmission or something like that.
What? All this stuff, 4-door, da-da-da-da."
Yeah,
I
yeah.
went, $35,000? That's like really like a $70,000, $80,000 truck or whatever,
Wow.
So about this time, we pull right into the parking lot at our camp where we were at Joan Hunter's, and someone is there. One of the John Marshall is there, and he's installing an air conditioner.
Somebody gave the money.
Somebody gave the
to
money.
buy that specifically.
And I didn't know that. And he went out.
Money was just pouring in.
And he got the air conditioner. He was installing the air conditioner. So now we've got an outfitted mobile kitchen unit with an air conditioner. Okay.
Very important in Texas that time of the year.
So it's
too.
like really cool. I mean, not cool, really good. So anyway, we get back in the truck and we take off, and we were going to go to the Chevrolet dealership, and I call him up and say, "Hey, we want to come look at some trucks." And the guy says, "Yeah, I think we've got some of those." So GPS it in. We're going down the road, and my GPS says, "Get off here." So I get off, and it's not the Chevrolet dealership, but it's a used car lot.
Oh, wow.
I went, I look at Jason. I said, "Well, something's wrong." He said, "Where you get off the wrong place?" I said, "Let's just turn around." Well, all the vehicles were on that side of the building except for one vehicle. So we pull in the side of the building there, and I was going to turn around, and I looked, and I said, "Jason?" He says, "Mike?" I said, "Do you see what I see?" So we get up a little closer. You know what it is? It's a dually Duramax diesel white truck.
Crew
4-door.
cab.
And I went, there's no way. So we get out, and this guy comes out and says, hey, you want to take it for a ride? It's like, whoa. I said, well, we want to look at this. And so we're looking at it. Look, showroom. It was maybe 2 or 3 years old, model
wow.
at that time. But it was showroom. I mean, not a spot, no blemish. It was beautiful.
Clean.
Okay. And I go, well, how much is this? And he said, well, I can let you have it for $37.50. And my jaw drops, and Jason's jaw dropped. You know, that dead giveaway right away, right? We had 35, right?
Right.
37. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
I said, well, we don't have any money, you know. So we already have an appointment at the other Chevrolet place. I said, well, we'll be back. And so we sent Sean pictures, and Sean said, that's it. That's the truck. He said, turn around and go back. I said, well, can we go down to the other? He said, when you go back, he told us to drive it and check something about the smoke coming out of the thing.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. So we're heading towards the other place, and Sean gives another call and says, we just had somebody donate another $35,000
For another vehicle.
for a new van.
For a new passenger van.
Wow.
Okay, I went, okay.
Here it comes.
So we pull in this. It's a Texas size dealership.
Right.
I mean, they had to get in a vehicle to drive to the other end of it, like this huge parking lot. So I pull in, and I told the guy, I said, I'm no longer looking for a truck. I'm looking for a white van. He said, white van? He said, we got white vans.
Oh, wow.
I said, this is what we got. This is what I need. He said, exactly. So he said, come on. So he's got his little clicker, and we're driving this big row of white vans. He's looking for the right van, okay? So there it is. Brand new, still got the plastic on the seats. So
The paper on the floor with the footprints.
yeah, I mean, it's got everything. It's done, okay?
Yeah.
I said, whoa, okay. So anyway, we make arrangements to get that truck. Well, we go back, and we drive the truck like Sean asked us to, and I told the guy, I said, well, you know, we work off of donations, and we don't have the money yet for this. He said, well, I'll tell you what, if we'll hunt, what?
There was a check coming.
Yeah, there's a check coming for it. We don't have it in our hand yet. It'll take a while to process the check.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I'll tell you what, if someone else is interested, I'll give you first dibs on it. I'll give you a call. And this was Friday, okay?
Yeah.
So on the way back, the bookkeeper calls me, I think the bookkeeper calls and said the check cleared already. And went,
How did that happen?
what?
Wow.
And so it's already too late.
35
It's
going
too
through
late
that
Friday.
fast.
So the bookkeeper and Jason got the opportunity to go and pick up the truck the next morning. So
Oh,
now
amazing.
we've got a mobile kitchen unit, completely outfitted.
Truck.
We've got a new truck and a new van. Okay, we're not through.
Gets better.
Gets it.
But wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more. Yeah. So
There's more.
in the meantime, there was a fellow that had deployed with us. He had a trailer. Let me back up a little bit. We're down there for a while. Okay. The storms changed. Okay, we had another storm that hit Florida. It was going to hit Florida. Okay, so we're still working in the Houston area, and so this storm is coming towards Florida, and so we decided that I'm going to roll up, and Jason's going to stay there, and I'm going to roll up and head to Florida.
And he's going to go try and find this
Pastor
Steve. That's
Pastor
what was
Steve.
it, 50 miles in or whatever,
Yeah.
10 miles in? I
Yeah.
can't remember. It was on a sticky note that I wrote it down.
Yeah.
I got it in my prayer closet.
Yeah, so we put the word out to find this Steve guy, right?
Yeah.
Pastor Steve guy. So actually, we found him.
We found him.
Steve.
We
Exactly.
We
to the
found him.
T.
And Sean calls him up and said, "Hey, my name's Sean Malone, Crisis Response International. I don't know why I'm calling you, but God told me to call you that you might need some help with this storm coming." He says, "We were just praying about that." He said, "We don't know what to do. We don't have a clue about what to do with this storm." He said, "Well, this guy named Mike is on his way down there to you, right as we speak." I went, "Oh, okay." And so the next day, I think I stopped in Jacksonville. Everyone was leaving Florida except me. I was headed down. Okay, we stopped in Jacksonville, waited for the storm to go through there. The next morning, I get up to head to Pastor Steve's, and I get Steve on the phone. He goes, "Hey, it passed us." He said, "We're cool. Nothing's going on here. I think someone lost their air conditioning. We're going on a cruise tomorrow. Bye. And went, he says, but I do have another pastor whose Assembly's a guy at, I forgot the name of it.
It was down the road a little bit.
It was down the road. Okay, on down the road a bit.
Estero.
Estero, Florida. And they've got a place down there if you want to go down there.
And wasn't his name Steve too?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And so we go down there, and
Trailer
they've got a
Steve.
house next to the church that someone had given them with a pool, a great big house, and they let us set up in this place.
Oh, wow.
Well, in the meantime, there's this guy that had a trailer. He says, "Hey, I've got this trailer." He called me and said, "I've got a trailer that I want to let you guys have." I said, "Well, let me be clear." I said, "Are you loaning us the trailer or donating the trailer?" He said, "No, I'm donating it to you." He said, "I'm going to bring it down." Well, something happened to him. He couldn't bring it down, and so we had some other people that were going to bring some things down. Well, in the meantime, this is in the meantime, Sean says, "Hey, we just had someone donate some money for another mobile kitchen unit." Okay, so the first mobile kitchen unit is the big boy. He's
Right.
the big mobile kitchen unit.
Yeah.
The second one was a smaller mobile kitchen unit, but it's got everything inside of it.
And it was designed to go into small neighborhoods where there's a lot of debris in the
the
streets.
big one couldn't get down the
Wow.
streets. This
Yeah.
one could
okay.
maneuver. All right,
Yeah.
and so he had some people that were coming, and they drug it down there. Okay, so they bring it down there, and not only did that come down there, but the trailer came with it that this guy had donated. Well, when the trailer shows up, not only is it a trailer, it's the white one. Not only is it a trailer, but he's got it logoed out with our name already on
Oh,
it.
here
So-
he just did it.
So we get this trailer, we get a outfitted mini mobile kitchen, a big, massive 30-foot long mobile kitchen, a brand new dually, and a white van.
And there was someone else donated some money for another truck. Okay.
That's right. Oh, yes. And then the third truck, we got the truck that I drive.
And then there's somebody donated some money for another truck. No, that truck.
Yeah, that's that one,
that
yeah.
truck. And that one ended up being helping Laura get home from
Kansas City.
Kansas City to bring some stuff that she needed to bring back.
And she drove it down to Florida and met me down in Florida.
Yeah, met you down in
and
Florida.
which enabled me to actually pull the new mobile kitchen back home.
Oh, my goodness.
It was like,
Oh,
you
my
can't
goodness.
make this up. And
So the mobile kitchen gets down there, and Sean's it's a lot of pressure. Okay,
he's like, I don't know what to do with this thing. I
That's
don't know how
like,
to
he
cook.
says, "You got to get it out there. Get the thing out there. Get it out there." And well, by the way, Puerto Rico had been hit. Okay, so we're trying to figure out what to do with Puerto Rico at this
Yeah.
point in time. So we've got three deployments going on at the same time.
So guy flies his plane down from Oregon and starts shuttling teams from Florida to Puerto Rico.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So anyway, so this guy shows up, and
God
so
can provide, maybe?
I'm on the phone with Sean, and I'd had some guys. Let me back up a second because I'm getting ahead of myself. There was a guy that showed up. I said, "Can see if you can get the mobile kitchen unit up and running. See if we what we need and stuff." He said, "Well, it's not going to work." I said, "Why?" I said, "Well, whoever manufactured it, the pigtail that plugs up to the generator, the head of it is too large to go through the hole that they put in the bottom of the trailer." I said, "Oh, how are you going to fix that?" He said, "That's all right." He said, "My son is like an electrical guy." So they cut the thing off, the pigtail off, and they went to the store and they bought all the stuff and they put it and they rewired the
Yeah.
pigtail and all this stuff.
Happened to be there.
Yeah, we did that training down there too.
Yep, and then we ended up doing trainings in several different churches. We
And-
offered online training and then did the training in Estero.
Yeah, and then you ended up going
Hundreds
there
of people got trained.
this last year.
Yeah,
That same pastor.
yep.
So
Yeah,
a
we
lot of
deployed there.
Yeah,
Yep.
deployed. A lot of people got trained there. So anyway, I'm on the phone with Sean. My eyeballs are hanging out because I had hair when I went down there.
He was running hard.
It's like we got and it was me. Okay. And Sean was on the way down there, and he said, "We got to get that thing out. We're feeding people." And I'm going, "Sean, I don't have anybody to cook." And I'm going, blah, 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 blah. And this lady is standing there. This D. I had D, Dot, and Doe.
Were their names? Seriously.
And three ladies, and D is standing there,
Great.
And she's I met her again at Morningstar. Remember?
Yeah. I run into her every now and then.
Yeah, and she's standing there listening, and I'm going, oh, because I'm going with Sean. You know, we're kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm whining a little bit, and he's whipping me a bit. So I said, oh, I'm sorry. And so I hang up. I said, hi. She says, God told me, she says, I haven't deployed in a long time. She says, but God told me to show up for this one. I said, well, what do you do? She said, well, I understand you need a cook.
Well, guys, you got that
I said,
impressive.
whoa. So she ended up cooking for us, and we got the trailer out, we got the thing out working and stuff, and so we cooked.
Yeah.
So now we've got the white trailer, we've got 2 mobile kitchen units, we've got 2 trucks and a van.
And someone purchased the AC unit, someone purchased the stove, someone purchased an ice maker. I mean, they bought, some people bought all of the equipment for one of those mobile trailers.
Okay, and we go back, it was $2,500 and a $400.
That's right.
Okay.
It was a seed.
The seat. So the people, we got started wrapping that deployment up, and Estero was strange because nobody really wanted anything. Everybody just left. They weren't.
But it ended up working out. You know, just this last year, the hurricane. I can't remember the name of hurricane that hit down there, but we ended up based at the church that we ended up doing that first training. The other Steve, and we're there. We're set up. I took the special forces team down there. We're blowing and going. We're feeding 1,000 people a day. And then the pastor comes up to me and he goes, yeah, you know, you did a training here. Like, you trained my whole church.
Oh, wow.
And I had no idea. I'm like, oh, wait, you're Steve. We ran this massive deployment out at Cape Coral.
So this
Christian Life Center.
So this building they let us be in, they let us stay there. We wrapped that deployment up, but we were trying to get people into Puerto Rico.
Uh-huh.
So they were kind enough. They let us stay there for like a month.
Yeah, ended up being a massive deployment in Puerto Rico.
So we would stage people
Long time.
there and send them to Puerto
Oh, my
Rico
goodness.
and back and forth. So they let us use that as a staging area for about a month.
It was amazing how it all
The
worked out.
links
So-
in the chain of God's provision,
It's
just stacking
amazing.
one on top of the other.
So I think I got all that story.
Yeah, you did. And so the point of all of this is, one,